Six great nations began this tournament. One by one, they are being eliminated. Who will be next? It's the final of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. Oh, this is danger for Germany. If Rahm had re-raised, Muntz could have got away. No, what a tragedy. We have lost our first nation from the Poker Nations Cup. This is very strong stuff. And with only an 8 deuce, the magician has spirited away some chips. His captain will be delighted. So here we are. Unlucky Germany were eliminated early in the final of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. 5 nations still fighting for victory. I'm joined by Barney Boatman.
Evening, Vicky.
Pass.
Tense.
Mads Anderson is going to have a go at every
Raise to
chip that
2300.
nobody else seems to want.
Pass.
Once again, decision for Kabaj with a weak ace.
Well, he's far more likely to take Mads Anderson on with this kind of hand. He knows Mads Anderson's been raising. He actually knows from Devilfish what Mads Anderson re-raised him with before. And this is a very strong play.
What a fantastic re-raise from Kabaj there.
So these two old friends, old sparring partners, giving each other absolutely no respect.
Just as it should be. $100,000 for the winning team, plus the Poker Nations Cup trophy. The green chips are worth $100, blues are $500, and reds are $1,000. For these poker players, great solo travellers on the road of life. Lovely, refreshing change to be playing as part of a team, to have your country behind you.
2400.
And Holland is behind this raise with 2 6s.
Wow.
Pass.
John Kabaj getting out of the way very quickly with a rag ace this time, and that's good timing by him. Esfandiari, on the other hand, has a far more attractive hand. Sitting in the small blind with ace-10 suited, we've seen him play strong with a lot less.
But Vandenberg has been one of the quietest players we've seen in this final. Very few raises from him, and that may worry the magician.
Yeah, but he knows about gears, he knows about moves, he knows he wouldn't be sitting there in that orange shirt if at this stage in the tournament he wasn't capable of raising with a wide range of hands. I find it hard to believe Esfandiari is going to put this one down, Vicky. It looks like he's reaching for a raise.
Raise to 8,800.
Well, every time Esfandiari gets involved in the pot, he sends out a signal that he won't be backing down. He's stuck in over half his stack.
Hey, juice again?
And Vandenberg just going to have to make a decision whether he wants to put his whole tournament on the line with a pair of 6s, having only put in 2,400 so far.
Holland does have a pretty big chip lead over the United States, so the magician can't knock out the Dutchman. But with only 2 6s, he really doesn't want to find himself up against a bigger pair. And he does know that he'll be playing for all the American chips if he goes into this pot.
Of course, he also knows Esfandiari has been making a lot of plays, a lot of strange hands.
We said 8,000.
Not one privy to all the information, but he's certainly seen the King 7.
This is where the great pressure of this tournament bears down on the player. Vandenberg knows that his captain Marcel Lusk can see both hands, will know the right move. He knows that all his Dutch teammates are watching. He doesn't want to screw it up for the whole team.
Well, I think what's going through his mind is that effectively he would have to make a call for what at best would be an even shot for the vast majority of his chips. And yes, I think that's a very sensible fold. I think most good players will put that down, but very strong play by Svandiari, who gave the man a decision for almost all his chips. And that's power poker, Vicky.
Timeout has been called by Holland. Marcel Lusk wants to tell his man exactly what's going on.
Het is duidelijk. It's very clear we're going to make a tactical move. Not because he didn't play right, but the psychological pressure in the back, knowing that he's going to play for all the stack, and we still have me and Rob to come to play. We go for the safe play, and that's what the others know. So they put pressure on him more than often. And I would like to take away some pressure and then put them on the test if they want. Then I take the responsibility to lose all the chips or not. They don't mind, but at least we have a better chance. And they're going to be more aware.
Marcel Lewis.
But it's time to play a little bit.
The A team is here, huh? The reserve.
Nice to see you how you are playing all these hands. Taking money away.
Marcel Lewis, can I ask why you guys used the timeout and then decided to pull someone out?
To crack you up.
You did a good job.
You go like, what happened?
Well, stand by to be amused, stand by to be amazed. Marcel Lusk is here to run rings round these players, and he won't be worrying about the pressure and whether he's going to be leaving any chips for the man who might follow him. He's here to try and win this thing.
Marcel Lusk, the great Dutch player. He's won pretty much everything except a World Series bracelet. He's come so close, a second and a third. But he will be so comfortable in this TV final format, raising right away.
He'll be playing with a great deal of freedom and no fear.
That's good when you sit there, you see all the friends passing by. Wow.
Congratulations, you saw
It's kind of nice. Thank you, Marcel, for speaking.
Svandiari knows that Marcel knows he's been playing back with nothing, so a pair of fives could be a lot stronger than Lusk would put him on.
You had a great hand. Can I have that hand instead of this? Because it took so long, it might be bad.
That's interesting. He doesn't even want to take a flop, Vicky. He's ducking her out of a confrontation with a man he doesn't think is going to be any kind of a pushover.
Welcome to the game.
Setting an example to the men he selected for the team. Marcel Lusk, the Dutch captain, goes straight in. He's barely settled into the chair before he's stacking extra chips. Welcome back to the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup final. Great Britain have fewer chips than they began this game with, but still a comfortable chip lead. And it's Sweden in troubled shape. They are really looking to get some extra chips.
Don't drop them on the floor. They're not that heavy.
If they're looking for an opportunity to get chips, then aces on the button, there's a good start.
Johan Starakis only recently joined this table. Very glad to find those cards. Oh, but look at this!
Oh, this is very unfortunate for the Dane, Mads Andersen. He may know that Starakis is a tight player, but he also feels with justification that Queen's a very strong hand to take him on with, and I can't see this being anything other than an all-in pot before the flop, Vicky.
Re-raise from Denmark.
5,000.
5,000 more.
Starakis will think. He will take his time. Well, of course, we've still got Marcel Lusk.
Sweden, of course, the short stack. Denmark cannot be knocked out, but they can take a terrible, terrible hit.
Historicus will think, he'll take his time, he'll try and put it into Mads Andersen's head that he has a very mediocre hand and he's not sure whether to follow through. It's possible that he's considering just calling, but I don't think he's going to do anything fancy. I think he's just going to push Vicky. There's enough chips already in that pot.
But Sweden need as many chips as possible. Starakis wants to win as big a pot as he can. He's moved all in, and call immediately, says Denmark.
Show me a queen!
Theo Jørgensen in the green room must have his head in his hands, with only 2 cards in the deck
God, that's so sick.
that can help Denmark.
Thank you, Lord, for folding.
They could be tumbling down the chip ladder. If a queen does come, of course, Sweden will get the chop.
Well, so many swings of fortune already in this Poker Nations Cup final. Sweden have been down on the floor, they've been up again, down again, and this is their chance to win a pot that will take them into the chip lead, Vicky.
It would be an enormous pot for Sweden and the tournament final if the aces hold up. Oh! Well, it would be impossible for Denmark to win this pot now with anything less than queen, queen.
Or club, Vicky.
That's it. 4 aces is the kind of hand you want to find in a big tournament final. Terrible for Denmark. The great Mads Andersen is down to less than 3,000 chips, but an incredible turnaround for Sweden, who could be powering to victory in the whole tournament.
Well, that was a hand that played itself, but what a disaster for Mads Andersen and Denmark. And really, they need a miracle to get back into this.
And what's this? Substitution for Denmark. The captain, Theo Jørgensen, feels that Mads Andersen may not recover from that traumatic pot. And he's pulling the man out of the game.
We're in very bad shape right now, so we need the guy who made 100 into 8,800, and we need all the luck we can get, and Bunding is our man.
Well, we expected the Danish captain, but no. He's chosen Lars Bunding to play the short stack. What's that about, Barney?
Well, Lars Bunding, we know, is a sort of walking poker grow bag. We saw him perform a miracle in his seat, turning one single $100 chip into about 9,000 in a few short hands. And if he can do that with one chip, what do you think he can do with 2,800 chips, Vicky? This is a perfect situation for him.
Pass. Pass.
Marcel Lusk only recently joined this table, the Dutch captain.
Well, we knew that these two would clash at some point, and Esfandiari may be doing it on his terms, because if Marcel Lusk decides to re-raise, which well he might, Esfandiari will not be backing down this time, Vicky.
Marcel Lusk, the most famous European player in all of America. His game will be familiar to the magician. It's an incredible pass.
Well, that is absolutely psychic. This is one of the reasons. Marcel Lusk is not the greatest mathematical player, but he's the greatest player of feel, the greatest reader in the game. He knows exactly where he is all the time with everybody. It's hardly even fair, Vicky.
Only 5-handed against an aggressive frequent raiser. Lusk lets go of those 5s as though they were hot coals. How do you play this game? Here's Barney.
Each player receives 2 cards face down from the dealer. The 2 players to the immediate left of the dealer post 2 compulsory bets, which are known as the blinds. Play then proceeds in a clockwise direction, with each player having to make a betting decision. They can call, match the current bet, or raise, put more money into the pot, or they can fold, throw their cards away. Once this round of betting is over, the dealer reveals the flop. 3 community cards dealt in the middle of the table. More betting follows. Then comes a 4th card, the turn card, and a 5th card, known as the river. Players must make the best 5-card poker hand using the 7 cards available. Once the betting is over, the players reveal their cards, and the player with the best hand wins the pot.
The Poker Nations Cup, and it's 5 little baby cups. Big one for the captain, little ones for the players on whichever is the winning team.
Folded the same hand to you?
Pass.
Hey. You promised not to look.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, 7.
I forgot.
So you cannot trust a man.
Lars Bernding of Denmark, brought in to double that stack and double it again, makes his first bid for glory.
Well, this is exactly what Lars Bernding does best.
28.
Now, Cabbage of Great Britain, he's got over 25,000. It's only 2,800. He figures he's priced in to hit something with these 2 fresh cards.
Well, could we be seeing the start of another Wonder Grow Lars Bernding performance?
Esfandiari is thinking he could come into this pot if he knew that Britain would check it. Yes, Denmark has now got to survive against 2 opponents. He's got the best hand at the moment, but a lot of cards would hurt him. Oh, top pair for Esfandiari. And also a pair for Great Britain.
3,500.
There's a lot of chips in that pot, and Esfandiari wants to take them, and John Cabbage trying to figure out what Esfandiari would do this with. I mean, I think he knows he would have to have something to do it.
Yeah.
John Cabbage is right in the middle there with middle pair.
Cabbage realises that Esfandiari would not bluff with a man all in. So the cards come over. Queens winning. Denmark need an ace to stay in this tournament.
With ace 9.
Captain Theo Jurgensen has not yet even had a chance to play in this final. If an ace doesn't come down, the Danish dream is over. One last chance to stay alive. It's over. Denmark came to the Poker Nations Cup, but they did not bring home the bacon.
The poker grow bag walks off with no bag. He got it in with the best, but he could not pull off the kind of miracles he pulled off in his heats. And now we're down to 4, Vicky.
After match lost with Queens versus Aces, I was brought in as the comeback kid because last time when I played, I was down to 100 chips, and I got to build up to almost 9,000. So we were hoping that the same scenario could happen again. So my 2,800 could go up, but unfortunately they couldn't.
Great Britain has called a substitution. We're down to 4, and we're going to see a new man at the table.
Okay, I'm putting myself in now and bringing John up because the blinds are getting bigger and we're sliding down a bit. We're third place in chips after having such a great big lead, so I'm going to go and see if I can do the business, okay?
Well, as this is the 4th British player to come in, no surprises that it's the captain, Dave Devilfish Elliott.
Who's better than you, Fish?
And he was hoping to be here right to the bitter end, Vicky.
In last year's Poker Nations Cup, the Devilfish played himself last, and it was he who lifted the trophy for Britain. He wants to make it a 2nd year running. Always a joy to see Marcel Lusk and Dave Devilfish Elliott on the same table. 2 great maestros of the game. Not to mention a bit of chat and song.
Pass. Pass.
Be interesting to see how Johan Storicus plays against these 3 very flary players. He far the most conservative of the 3, but he knows they know that. He also knows there's only one winner, And as the chip leader, it could be time to start pressing.
How much more do you have there?
Why you want to know? You always have to match it.
I think I'm going to raise here.
Oh, keep thinking. Keep thinking. Who cares?
No.
Who cares? You think you raise. I think I'm going to buy a Bentley tomorrow. But the guy is asking me to come in the store and sign.
I love Marcel Luz. Fish, you're gonna have to talk if you're playing at this table. I want to hear about you and your moves and.
I've only been here 2 seconds, bro.
Well, get going.
I'm going to rev it up, don't worry. I just want to watch this coup. I like to see, one's raising and one's re-raising. I like to watch what's going on,
What's going on?
Goodness me, incredible play by Straka's, absolutely fearless. Huge bet goes over the line, 20,000 in the pot. We're just 10 high.
Well, I mean, this one will end here and now. It's an incredible move. A move made in Sweden. And timing absolutely perfect.
Captain Bo Selstedt will be so delighted. He replaced himself with this man. Lack of vanity there. And what a vindicated decision.
Johan Storakers was an easy pick for the team. He's been playing for a lot of years and he has tremendous experience. Johan's main strength is his mathematical and analytical sense. He's very good in those parts like pot odds and things. In these types of tournaments, it always happens that there are players that are too loose and he benefits from that.
Okay, guys, let's not start stealing blinds and stuff.
Holland in a bit of trouble at the bottom there. America
Raise to 2,300.
making a great recovery. It's interesting, they're only on their second player, the American team. Captain Robert Williamson leaving Antonio Esfandiari at the table.
Pass.
Well, Antonio Esfandiari is doing a fantastic job for his country.
I think I have to raise a little bit.
Well, I was going to call this race.
It's all right, it's all right. I'm all in.
Raise all
That's
in.
not a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's not too much. It's a little
Pass.
I guess I got to throw it away. Guess we're going to see what shit you was raising my blind with now, Antonio.
It's amazing. I think I have you, but if I call, my teammates will kill me, and I can't do it.
Very good pass by Esfandiari.
Show me king.
I don't play this for all my money.
Well, I've seen you call with a king 7 and raise with an 8 deuce, so I've been watching.
Well, I looked at an 8 twice. I thought I had pocket 8s.
Oh, okay.
Bullshit. Okay. And the king 7, it's suited. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's like you're obligated now. So if you
Pass.
find something suited, you're obligated. I know. All right. I think I just get contact with Michael Jackson.
Pass. Call.
Wow. Esfandiari reaching for chips. He's only got 9 deuce.
Raise 4,100 more.
4,100, huh? You don't want me to play, huh? Must be some piece of shit you got down.
Dave Elliott commented on the fact that it's an over race and that Esfandiari doesn't want the action.
Gutsy bet though from Esfandiari.
How much you playing on there, bro?
He could just take a free flop with this terrible hand, hope to hit something. But no, he wants to collect the 800 chips put in by Britain, and he's gambling to do it.
Well, Dave Elliott has a hand that he knows could connect in all sorts of ways. They both have deep stacks,
18 and a half.
but this would
Is that
be
counting what's in the middle? No? No.
a large proportion of the UK's stack if Dave was just to call with it. He knows what Esfandiari is capable of. He's out of position. He's got his folding face on, Vicky.
Give it to Alibaba. I know it was a piece of shit. Everybody in the world knew it was a piece of shit.
Well, then why didn't you put the money in, huh?
You keep
If
doing
you
that.
knew it was a piece of shit, why didn't you put the money in, huh? Mr. Fish?
Aggravate him. He will call you next time to kill you.
I had you crushed, and when you get out there, your teammates will tell you what I had, and you almost went broke. All right, mister?
Be aware, I might catch you by the hair.
Fishy.
What we told Antonio was, look, everyone's adjusted to your play and they're sending in players, they're going to re-raise you, etc. So we told Antonio to tighten up, but of course, he reached down and he's now re-raising 4,000 with 9 deuce. So like a 9-year-old telling him not to play with matches, it's the same as telling Antonio not to raise. It's whatever, it doesn't matter. You can't tell a 9-year-old kid not to, you know, to stay out of trouble.
Welcome back.
You might be the first magician I make disappear.
I love the fish!
Yeah, he's good.
Who's better than the fish?
The chat has been restored to this table. The final began in a blaze of banter and joking. It went very serious and quiet,
Raise to
but they're starting to enjoy themselves now.
Call.
And why not? 4 of the world's greatest players at the top of their game, representing their countries in the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup.
Well, Marcel Luz has come in with a raise. Dave Ulliott call behind with an almost identical hand. And Esfandiari, considering the squeeze play, with one of his bigger hands, it's call or raise. He knows that Ulliott's capable of setting a trap by calling in the middle of a big hand. Does he want to eschew the opportunity to take a flop here quite cheap with a small pair? Or does he want to... His normal MO would be to move here, Vicky. But
Call.
there's 2 players who might have a hand plus 1 behind him.
I don't think anybody can.
Esfandiari's going to try and flop a 6.
The American is worried about Great Britain's flat call. He thinks it could be a trap. And Starokas of Sweden has a hand to play a 4-way pot. I mean, hard to give this up for the chips in the middle.
No, well, I mean, there's more than one way to play this as well. But once again, the kind of hand... Well, a very, very surprising fold by the chip leader. You would have thought he would have at least had a look there, Vicky.
Yeah.
3 players.
And of course, it would have been an up and down straight draw for the Swede. He might have nicked the pot with that. He's decided to get out of the way and maybe hope to see another country eliminated.
Well, of course, he wouldn't have liked it against 3 players. And, well, if Dave Ulliott makes a bet here, that's very impressive. He's got none of this.
It's Ulliott with the worst hand of the 3, betting out 7,000 into 2 players. That takes guts.
Well, he's using the button. He feels there's enough chips in there. If Marcel Luz had some of this, he would have bet to get rid of the draws. Maybe a little more worried about Esfandiari, who could have been trap checking on the flop.
Esfandiari worried that Ulliott already had a big hand.
You're lucky my team's out there, Fish.
That crafty flat call. The magician fears something big in Britain's hands. And look at that.
You're on the fish!
With the worst hand of 3, Britain gathers in the pot. The devil has all the best tunes, and he's got the chips as well.
Have you heard him sing, Vicky?
I think he sings rather nicely.
There's no accounting for taste.
That is the end of blinds level 5, the compulsory substitution for America. Great performance from Esfandiari, but he is leaving the table.
Devilfish put himself in, captain of the British team. The British are coming, but now the Americans are coming to run the British off. Clooney's going to get in there and play her A game. Devilfish is going to say she's just a woman. If she busts him, she won't be just a woman.
Aha! American captain is playing the tactic of feminine guile. It's Cloney Gowan coming in for America.
Well, that's interesting, Vicky. Cloney Gowan played a very good game in this tournament last year, and having played very well in both her heats this year and last, it'll be very interesting to see what she can do on this final table.
Every team here has got one player left in reserve, apart from Britain, who have played their last man, Devilfish, the captain. And every team has one timeout left, one last piece of secret advice that can be shared. Two team captains are actually at the table, but the players can call a timeout.
Marcel Lusk on the attack. Feels that Cloney Gowan may be a good target.
Well, he's made a mistake if he thinks that's a soft target. Raise, says Gowan, making it very uncomfortable for the Dutchman.
Well, once again, just like Esfandiaro before her, she is letting them know that this will be a commitment for all her chips.
Okay. Pass.
Strong play by Gowan with the pair of ducks. Quack, quack, she gets some chips. She'll feel more comfortable at the table, and they'll know not to bully her too hard. Sweden with a big chip lead. America and Britain tussling just underneath. And the short stack is the Flying Dutchman, Mr. Marcel Lusk.
Well, he won't be backing off this hand easily, Vicky.
Yeah, I don't think he's passing this one for a re-raise. Ooh. If Gowan moves again, I think she's going to get called.
And she's measuring it up for a raise, Vicky. And we could see the Dutch setting themselves in here.
Marcel Lusk may start to feel that Gowan has been sent in with instructions to re-raise him.
I'm all in.
He's all in, and it's only a few thousand more. It's a must call for Gowan.
13,400 total. No shame in folding.
She's just waiting for a count to know exactly how many to put in. And
Holland all in.
an even race, a fair fight. But it's Marcel Lusk for Holland, who's fighting for his tournament life here.
We're off to the races. Ace or a 10 would save Marcel. If the sixes hold up, we'll be losing Holland.
Let's see the flop. Flop comes 6, 9, 3.
With 3 sixes now, only running cards for a straight can save Holland.
To catch, to stay in the tournament. Let's see the turn.
Only Jack Queen would do it for them. A Jack now would make a straight for Holland. Any other card will be down to 3 nations.
It's a deuce.
It's over. A great performance from Holland tonight. World-class players fielded. But they are going home empty-handed.
But who would begrudge the USA team, who fought for so long, so hard at the bottom of the ladder all through this Poker Nations Cup, and they never had let their heads go down. And now they have a huge chip lead.
If I could have today over again, I probably would put in Jared of Cherry first. There would not be a difference. He did very good. And then instead of me getting in there before the end and then trying to work it out and then leave the finishing touch to Rob, I will do it the other way around. And have Rob in there and probably me doing the finishing touch on the end if you get that far. It's always a very bad feeling as a captain of a team to not succeed in your mission and then you get out of a tournament.
An amazing reversal of fortune. Britain, the big chip leaders at the start of this final, are lying in third. America, massive underdog, are now top. if America come back to win this Poker Nations Cup from the position they started it, the bragging of the Americans will know no bounds.
And check.
So good to see Robert Williamson's faith in Cloney Gowan being so thoroughly vindicated.
Check. It's 1500.
Gowan having a little tester bet, wanting to find out if her ace is good. But when you ask Dave Elliott a question, it's very hard to trust the answer.
Raises 4,000 more.
Just in case you made a mistake.
She wanted to know if her ace was good. Very confusing reply. But she knows everything about what Dave Elliott is capable of. She knows the strength of an ace. And with a pair on board, she doesn't think Elliott would re-raise with a 6.
If she plays back at him here, I will be incredibly impressed. But no, she considered it.
All right, team talk. Cloney got him. Cloney's got us to the chip lead. Now we're trying to bring it home today. Robert, go kill him. Change. It's a little early, but
he didn't bite.
Bluff by the British captain. Snatches back some chips for his home team.
You just don't know that hard work. You don't want to bluff them all the way, right?
Substitution USA. Cloney Gowan has played great.
What? She's only been on 5
But the captain, Robert Williamson, may feel she's done as much as she can. Here he comes, the man who clinched that crucial victory in the final heat for America. The captain, Robert Williamson, hoping to repeat his last-minute heroics.
I think it was always Robert Williamson's intention to come in when they got to short-handed stage of the game. He wants to be the one to take on the Devilfish. We're about to see the final stages of this tournament unfold.
But what's this? An immediate substitution for Sweden.
See you later, bro.
So now it's time for our fourth player to come in. Anders Henriksson is a super strong short-handed player, and I look forward to seeing him on the table right now.
Anders Henriksson, great young Swedish player who took a bracelet at last year's World Series and a third place. So this is it. The last players have been fielded. No more substitutions. Fresh meat settles in for the crucial, decisive stages of the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup. Henriksson has been watching the whole final so far from the green room. He's itching to get started.
3,000.
Well, he's coming straight in and playing the Swedish way. And Dave Elliott only calling with his hand, which he might well have played back on another occasion with. Williamson doesn't want to know with an ace.
Well, interesting that Williamson lets go the opportunity to see a flop against his two opponents. Oh, it would have been a huge flop for Williamson, 2-pair. As it is, nothing for anybody else. But
well, Henriksson, the raiser, didn't want to represent that, but he's got a huge hand now on the turn.
4,000.
Enormous card on the turn. Up and down straight draw for Elliott. Straight draw and flush draw for Henriksson.
Cool.
This could take off. Well, Henriksson has made a pair, and that is winning.
Well, Dave Elliott called on the turn with a straight draw. He's missed and only has jack high. If he puts Henriksson on some sort of draw, he might feel he can take him off this hand now. He certainly knows he can't win the pot any other way.
Robert Williamson must be ruining the day he passed ace-deuce. He could have won a huge pot here. There's already $15,000 in it. As it is, only a bluff can win it for Britain.
It's 9,000.
And that is a bluff and a half. $9,000, says Elliott, with just jack high.
Okay. Well, this decision for Hendrickson is a defining moment for both the British and Swedish teams. Hendrickson has hit a pair. If he can work out what it was that Dave Elliott was calling to hit, he may call. Of course, the 6 could have made Elliott a straight, but Hendrickson has a 7 in his hand. If he reads Elliott for the jack 10 or for a club draw, well, no, that was a great play by Elliott.
Total bluff. $9,000 with nothing. This is the steel backbone of the British captain, which could yet win the cup. So we're down to 3 players. $100,000 for the winning team, plus the Poker Nations Cup trophy.
I'm a bit hot now, boys. I don't like to get all-in jobs like that.
Pass.
Green chips are worth $100, blues are $500, and reds are $1,000.
Cool.
Okay, let's go.
Check.
Henriksen has the bigger hand here, but a pair of 3s now for Dave Elliott.
It's 1,500.
Well, Hendrickson may well feel that he's hit his flop. Up and down straight draw for him.
Cool.
And although Elliott has hit a pair, Hendrickson will like this more.
It's a good card for Elliott, 2 pair now.
4,000.
Yeah, when you've got an up and down straight draw, you don't want to see a card pair on the board. And Hendrickson would love Dave Elliott to go away now.
I think you got a 4, I don't think you got an 8, buddy. I slow played 2 queens. I think 2 queens are good, right?
Well, you know if his lips are moving that he's lying.
Elliott has only just seen Henriksen sit down at this table. He's not sure if the man would have flat called with a big pair. Doesn't want to make a costly mistake with just a pair of 3s.
He's trying to work out whether Hendrickson bet out with a draw, but a very weak hand for Elliott, and not surprising that he gave that one up. And good play by the Swede.
I never had 2 queens.
Three players left in the PartyPoker Poker Nations Cup final. Robert Williamson III, captain of America, has got the chip lead, but there's very little in it. It could go any one of 3 ways, like me after a couple of drinks, Barney.
I don't know where to start with that one, Vicky.
Robert Williamson calling with the hand they call the Doyle Brunson. Doyle Brunson himself, a great friend of Williamson, fellow Texans.
Check. Check.
Williamson knows this 9 is a blank. He's firing.
It's 1,500.
And he's not firing blanks. Henriksen lets it go. Who would have predicted that chip underdogs at the start of this final, the United States, would be chip leaders with only 3 nations left?
Raise to 3,000.
Oh, for God's sake, I can't stand anymore. Cool. It's bullshit.
Dave Elliott is called with exactly the same hand. This would be a great opportunity for Williamson to put the squeeze on. No one needs to have anything here.
Whoa, baby.
It was a small raise by Sweden, which the others have both called. Oh, and on a queen-high flop, Britain and Sweden having the same hand. Who can steal it from the other?
Check. Check.
Damn, I guess I should have bet.
Well, they're playing the long game here, and in so doing, they've given the Williamson a piece of this, because he's picked up a flush
That's
draw.
8,000.
Britain and Sweden with top pair and the straight draw. America with the flush draw. This could be a big pot.
Pass.
Well, extraordinary. He doesn't want to get involved there. With a man behind him. But Hendrickson, he may feel that Dave Elliott has picked up a draw.
I think he has to raise. I mean, Henriksen raised pre-flop. He hit his flop.
He was trapping by checking on the flop, I think, but there's so much danger out there. He wants to continue in this hand. He's facing an 8,000 bet from Elliott.
Cool.
Well.
I'm not sure I like the call because there are so many scare cards that Henriksen
Yeah, but
can
he
see.
might be planning to represent, and they both made their straights.
Well, now nobody's going anywhere. The chips will probably all go in, the cards turned over, and they'll get their money back again.
Well, Vicky, just sit back and enjoy an acting performance from both of these. The only question is how long is it going to take them to reveal the strength of their hands?
Oh dear, Dave Elliott trying desperately to look unhappy about the river card, which of course he loves.
And absolutely no information on the face of Hendrickson.
Thank you.
Oh, don't worry, they'll all be over here in a minute. I'll be able to stack on for him. 8.
It's 8,000.
Dave Elliott trying to make it look like a stopper bet, a value bet, a weak bluff, anything but what it is. And when the raise finally arrives, it'll be a quick call, a mutual disappointment.
Don't do out silly, all your teammates are watching.
Dave Elliott thinks he's conducting a brilliant double bluff, but there's no way he's going to win this pot outright.
All in. Raises all in.
Wow. I call.
Call.
And look at the disappointment for both of them.
Okay, let's chop it.
When they discover it's a split pot.
Well, Williamson will be delighted not to have got caught in the middle with his flush draw.
Yeah, it was a very conservative pass by Williamson on the turn, but just as well for him because his money would have been carved up by the other two. We're going to leave the action here. Join us next time for the conclusion of the Poker Nations Cup. Don't be anywhere else. Till next time, good night.
The names are as iconic as the race. Avon Tyres British GT Championship heads to Donington Park for the second event of the season, next here on 4.